Donald Trump is so unhinged and out of control, it's nearly impossible to defend him. But what happens when it's literally your job to defend Donald Trump? Now you're backed into a terrifying corner. You have no choice but to try and defend the indefensible. And this is exactly what's happened to Donald Trump's good little buddy, Speaker Mike Johnson. He recently tried to defend Donald Trump on CNN, and he instantly regretted it. How's it going, everybody? Hunter Avallone here with Occupy Democrats. Welcome back to another video. Now we're going to get to how Speaker Johnson has tried to defend Trump on CNN in just a moment, but first, a quick recap. Mike Johnson, although he does look like a kid who's just terrified while his dad is screaming at the waiter, is actually a bit of a maniac himself. Pepperidge Farm remembers not too long ago Mike Johnson claiming that he hears voices in his head and that God told him he's Moses. Whatever God has told you, has a therapist told you you're insane? And this isn't just a one-off, out-of-context thing. As not too long ago, CNN unearthed several instances of Johnson's extreme beliefs.
Yeah, so for years, Johnson worked with this group called Exodus International on an anti-gay event aimed at teens. Now, Exodus was a leader in what was called the ex-gay movement. We talked a little bit about it in that intro, where they claimed that you could essentially change somebody's sexuality through counseling, through prayer. They basically treated being gay as a mental illness.
But what these adult advocacy groups like the Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network are promoting is a type of behavior. Homosexual behavior is something you do. It's not something that you are. Many historians, those who are objective, would look back and recognize and give some credit to the fall of Rome to not only the deprivation of the society and the loss of morals, but also to the rampant, homosexual behavior that was condoned by the society.
This is one of the oldest and most persistent conservative myths. The downfall of Rome was actually a complex process, and it was driven by a combination of internal and external factors, such as military overspending, corruption within the government, economic issues, and relentless invasions from barbarian tribes. Nothing to do with gay people. But now that we have a decent idea of how insane Mike Johnson is, we can get to the moment you've been waiting for. As recently, Speaker Johnson tried to defend Donald Trump, and he instantly regretted it. It all started as he was making the rounds on TV. He already wasn't off to a very good start.
You are eliminating subsidized federal student loans, so the government would no longer cover the interest on debt while borrowers in school. You're eliminating $500 billion in clean energy subsidies, and you're terminating early tax breaks for electric vehicles. Alongside that, you're carrying out about $1 trillion in reductions to Medicaid and food stamps. We looked at your home state, and the projection is that nearly 200,000 Louisianans will lose their Medicaid coverage because of this. How do you defend that to your constituents?
We have not cut Medicaid, and we have not cut SNAP. What we're doing, Margaret, is working on fraud, waste, and abuse. And everyone in Louisiana and around the country understands that that's a responsibility of Congress. Just in Medicaid, for example, you've got 1.4 million illegal aliens receiving those benefits. That is not what Medicaid is intended for. It's intended intended for vulnerable populations, for young single pregnant women and the elderly and the disabled and people who desperately need those resources. Right now, they're being drained by fraud, waste, and abuse. You got about 4.8 million people on Medicaid right now nationwide who are able-bodied workers, young men, for example, who are not working, who are taking advantage of the system. If you are able to work and you refuse to do so, you are defrauding the system. You're cheating the system.
First of all, just undocumented immigrants, are not eligible for food stamps or Medicaid. Some lawfully present immigrants
That's the problem.
are. So the 190,000 Louisianas that are projected by KFF as losing their Medicaid, your position is they were just lazy, not working, that they were undocumented? What about them? How do you defend that they will be losing their benefits?
No, what we're talking about, again, is able-bodied workers, many of whom are refusing to work because they're gaming the system. And when we make them work, it'll be better for everybody, a win-win-win for all.
But then came CNN, and this is where Mike Johnson really regretted everything.
I want to ask you about something else. President Trump held a closed-door event Thursday night for top investors in his private cryptocurrency. We do not know who was there. The list has not been released. We do not know how much of the money came from outside the country. The president has, of course, a huge role to play when it comes to regulating crypto. I really have a difficult time imagining that if this was a Democratic president doing the exact same thing, you wouldn't be outraged.
Well, look, I don't know anything about the dinner. I was a little busy this past week, as you know, getting the reconciliation package over the line. And so I'm not going to comment on something I haven't even heard about. I'm not sure who was there or what the purpose was. But I'll say this. President Trump is very active. He's very engaged. He's the greatest deal maker, one of the greatest deal makers of all time. He is working on these trade imbalances that we've had and having tremendous success. We got over 75 countries now renegotiating their trade agreements with America.
But on this matter with the crypto, shouldn't we at least just know who was at the dinner? Wouldn't you want to know that list of people?
I guess. I mean, again, I don't know anything about that dinner.
Okay.
I do know that President Trump is the most transparent president in the most transparent administration probably in history. He has nothing to hide, and he's out there trying to advance America's interests. That's what America First policies are all about, and that's what our big reconciliation bill will deliver for the people. We're really proud of the product.
I have no idea why Trump's goons seem to think this is a good defense. Claiming ignorance is not convincing. I mean, your argument is pretty much just, I don't know, I'm stupid. Then again, you have already convinced the nation that you're stupid, so that's fair, but you claiming you just didn't know about this dinner or, oh, somehow the corruption just slipped under the radar for you? Come on, nobody's buying that. This is yet another embarrassing moment for Speaker Mike Johnson. But then again, like I was saying in the beginning, when you have no choice but to defend the indefensible, you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure.